Hey guys, welcome back to TBK Racing. Today's video, I wish I made plenty of video of this car that I built, but I didn't, unfortunately. I did take photos of the vehicle as I was doing the turbo kit. I do have video of it at the track, which I'm going to show you guys, and then so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the build. It is a 2014 Mustang GT Coyote. Once was an automatic, still is technically an automatic, but instead of using the stock transmission, it now has a turbo 400 using a PTC 4400 converter into it. We'll probably end up sending it out, maybe trying to see if we can tighten up a tiny bit, but right now it's actually doing really well. 373 gear in the back. Suspension wise, we just got double adjustable shocks, factory springs out back. Actually, I'm sorry, the drag pack springs out back with front coilovers. I believe they're QA1s. And tire package, race stars, 17 up front, 15 in the rear, with the sway bar brackets cut off to fit them. No other modifications needed. And so fuel system in the car is a Walbro 450 pump in the stock hat location, and there's no issues with the jet siphoning pump set up on it to get fuel from one side of the tank over to the main side. No issues there, in which anybody can do it. It's really simple to do. Using a return style setup on it. So it's got an aeromotive fuel pressure regulator on it with a return -6 return line onto it. So that way we can get away with running a Siemens Deca 80-pound injector versus if it was returnless, I'd have to run a bigger injector in it because although on pump gas for right now, it still would have been fine. But moving on to E85 to have more boost and more timing, returnless definitely wasn't going to do it unless you do like a boosted pump. I like boosted pumps, but I just don't like them enough because a lot of times things can go wrong if the booster pump, which I have dealt with before, have failed to where they would fail and the pump would see max voltage at all times versus having it activate at X amount of boost or X amount of throttle position. So it's just easier and less things to go wrong when it's just set up. So after all that, intake manifold is a Boss 302 on it, and then we get to the turbo setup on it. Borg Warner S475 billet 10 blade with a 132 AR on it. Yeah, it's a big AR, but again, being budget oriented and stuff like that, and then we'll see. So, spool out time has been great. Street manners have been really great. Exactly what he wanted, where he wanted to drive the car around wherever he wanted to and not have any issues, or I gotta adjust valve lash, or I gotta do this, or I gotta do that. So the piping with BBK headers, chopped them off, put on my own V bands on them. So my primary setup on it is 3-inch merging into a 3.5-inch. Goes around the lower control arm above it and then around to the lower radiator core support and around and further back towards the driver's side fog light. And that's where the turbo's mounted. Looks killer. Treadstone intercooler, never had a problem with it. No heat soaking issues, which has been awesome. They've been phenomenal on that. And I continue to use their products because of that. And it's got a 5-inch downpipe, and here you can see in the picture there's a lot of pipe cuts in it, but I did that for good reason. It did go out the bumper. Can I do an exhaust system out the back? Yes. Did we want to? No. So with that being there, I still had to fabricate it to make up clearances so that way you could have that skinny 17-inch tire up there and have your turning radius without rubbing anything, and then putting on your factory wheel and tire setup, which is basically like an 8 to a 9-inch or maybe a 10-inch wide rim, and you can still have your turning radius without rubbing on anything, which is, why wouldn't you want that? So with all that being said, everything's been great so far. Been making plenty of passes on it. I'm super conservative on timing with the car. I think we're at about like 10 or 11 pounds of boost. We definitely are going to go more on it. I don't know how much more, or I'm not, well, I should say I know how much more we're going to go. I just don't know what our max is going to be so far. It is on stock bottom end, so oil pump gears and ARP head studs. just to, knock out those two, which are really important. Still utilizing stock cams and springs. So we're going to see where the envelope goes. I know I can push this vehicle harder, but at the same time, I want it to still be reliable. And being that it's a stock bottom end, I know there's plenty of guys out there that push a stock bottom end, but at the same time, there's people that want to push them and don't care to push them, or you want it to be reliable. And in my case, I don't want to build every car and keep pushing the envelope. That's not really why I like doing this. I want to build street cars. I want to build race cars, for that matter, that do push the envelope. And for street cars, I want them to be reliable. I want you guys to enjoy them. And if you don't enjoy them, why do it? Um, but it's been a great ride so far with this car. These two passes that he sent me that I have video of, because I do like getting low side video of the car, because I want to see how the car launches. I want to see how it does 60 feet out. I want to see how it does 330 out. So that way it helps me, telling him how to adjust the suspension on the car for being very marginal than what it is. Definitely the car is going to be upgraded with an anti-roll bar, because it does have that famous Mustang right-hand side squat, as much as a lot of other cars do. But this one you can definitely tell in the video. But suspension upgrades are to come. Still going to be creeping up on more on timing and on boost. In the first video, the car launched at 3,800, and my boost curve was right around like 10 pounds. I was messing around with the ramp rate, and I really wanted to see where it would be at. And the car launched at 4,200 RPM, but the boost was at 8 pounds. So I lost a little bit on the boost, which is fine, because I wanted to play around with certain things and see where I can go as far as 60 foot into 330. And then anything out the back is just, well, let's turn it up and it'll. And the track officials said that it was just too cold and it was a safety issue, which is not going to argue that whatsoever. I was just happy, and so was he, that he was able to get two passes out of the car, considering what time he got there. Drove there, set the car up with tire pressure, um, set the laptop up to make logs, took videos, and aired up the tires, got right back in it, and drove home. And that is awesome. That's an awesome feeling, and for him, and I am happy for him that it did that. So I'm trying to make sure that this car does not have any of the race car quirks. Eventually, if we do a built motor and stuff like that, eventually there will be some quirks. But I mean, that's the inevitable. If we're going to try to make sure it doesn't have those quirks. So it's going to be a little bit of a road trip getting there. And but as far as the power level and where the power band is, I'm super happy with it. We will be doing, like cams and valve springs, so that way we can turn it up more, meaning that you can rev the motor out more. So as long as it doesn't get any valve flow, we should be taking this car up to like 75 or 8,000 RPM on the shift, and see how she likes it. And it should, because I know the turbo is definitely good for it, but the valve springs aren't. And same thing with the camshafts, they're not really that great. I mean, they're stock camshafts, they can only go so far. If we do stage threes in it, I know the power band will definitely go up to about 8,000, and this car will really sing. But that's all to come. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you like and subscribe. I got more projects coming. I'm still working on the Mustang here with the turbo kit, which is coming out great. Which I will have a video for you guys on this one at least. You know, unlike this build where I just took pictures, this one I will have video for you, and you guys will see everything on it. So thanks, guys.